Hi, Yvonne here at Yvonne's Craft Room. Let's have some fun with a buckle fold card. The reason why it's called a buckle fold is you create this little like a belt piece that goes into a little slot that you create that holds the card closed. Okay, all the supplies are listed below. You're going to start off with some basic black, 4 1/4 by 8 1/2, scored at 3 inches, and a 2 1/2 by 2 3/4 to cut out the die, 1 1/2 by 5 inch to create the buckle, and a Petal Pink 4 inch by 5 1/2, and a 2 inch square for scrap, and some Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper. So first off, on that belt piece, on that 1/2 inch fold, adhere some tear and tape, and where you've got on the score line, and you're going to tuck that in behind your Petal Pink cardstock, and that creates the little belt piece. There you go. Adhere it down nicely. And then adhere that into your card face on the inside. And I've just used some snail to put this all in. I thought I'd use snail today for all this card. I usually use Tombow, but I thought, gee, I'm going to have some fun with snail. Okay. Center that in. You should have a 1/4 inch spacing there. Okay, and that's your front flap. Okay, your Designer Series paper from that pretty Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper. Put the front panel on the front and adhere it with some snail. Same thing, you'll have the dimensions down below that'll give you the alignment. So line it up so nicely so your inside and outside line up straight. Now mark with a pencil where you're going to cut your buckle in, and that just gives you a guide. So now with your punch, and it's called the Classic Label Punch, just pop that in, and where your pencil marks are, line it up and punch through those. Now that's going to create the slot that your little belt piece is going to slide into and hold the card closed. Isn't that cute? Okay, so let's put the layers of Designer Series paper on the belt piece. I'm not sure what else to call that thing. I'm calling it the belt because I can't think of a better name for it. And that's more of the Designer Series paper from Magnolia Lane. Colors are beautiful. That's Petal Pink cardstock, by the way, did I mention? Okay, so for on the front, on this sweetly stitched dies, I cut out in basic black. And you're going to put dimensionals on this on the back. Now, when you do that, make sure that you put the dimensionals on the left side only, because when you don't want to block that little belt piece sliding in. So you don't want to put dimensionals that are going to block that. Okay, so I put some generous dimensionals there. Take your I cannot say that. Take your pick tool to remove the dimensional coverings. Boy, I'm tongue-tied this morning. Okay, and center it nicely. And just make sure your dimensionals are not stuck. At this point, if you've done it wrong, I don't know what you might be able to get it off, but hope you haven't done that. Okay, so now the out of the circles stitched dies, I number 3 I think was the circle size, and I cut out of that Magnolia Lane Designer Series paper, and then one of the flowers from that paper, and I'm going to fussy cut it out, and you'll notice that quite to the edge there. So I'll show you a little trick to fix that. If you have little white edges after you fussy cut, you want to get rid of those little white edges, and it just gives it a nice finished look. And it's a simple trick to that. And I've used my paper snips. And the trick to fussy cutting, is to do all your movement with your hands and the paper. Keep your scissors, and you hardly do the cutting action with your scissors. If you do, you'll get uneven cuts. If you do it mostly with your hands, as you see I'm moving the paper there, you get nice smooth cuts. Okay, so now I'm taking my basic black, putting the dimensionals on and on the back. Okay, now you'll see that one edge there that's got some white showing. So I'm just taking my black marker, and I'm just carefully, you don't want it to saturate or bleed into your paper, but just catch those edges anywhere where you see the white paper, and it just gives it a nice finished look. There you go. Isn't that gorgeous? You take the covers off the dimensionals and pop that on. And then with the attached to bow, and this is with the Petal Pink 5/8. It's called Organdy Striped Ribbon. And I'm attaching it with 3 glue dots just to give it a good fix there. And you notice I put the circle with the flower just a little higher up on that black so that I have a little more room for the bow at the bottom. Just a trick. I love that ribbon. Okay, so now to do the sentiment, I use my Embossing Buddy on some Petal Pink scrap paper, and using with the Versamark ink, I am stamping Happy Birthday, and that's from the stamp set called Okay, and then put it your black embossing powder, shake it off. Good trip to, and then with your heat embossing tool, your heat gun, heat that up in your embossing powder. When it's melted, it'll go shiny, and you know you've got it. And then with a fussy cutting as well, with my paper snips, the same thing. And I've just speeded it up here a little bit for you. Okay, using a mini dimensionals, these are little ones. Just putting some on the back. And going to put this on the belt part of the card. And then with some, isn't that great looking? Okay, just to finish it off, I'm going to use some Champagne Rhinestone Basic Jewels, and they're just a perfect color. Just affixing those onto the card. Well, I hope you really like this card. I hope you make it. You can make your own variation, but you see the idea in the design. It's really quite simple. Thanks for stopping by, and have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye now.